Have you ever paused to consider the deeper meaning behind your teeth? At first it might sound like something trivial, just a physical detail, a matter of health or appearance. But to Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in psychology, nothing in the human body was random. In fact, even the condition and shape of your teeth could be seen as deeply connected to symbolic forces that reveal who you are at the core. Jung proposed that the body itself is a map of the unconscious, and our teeth, far from being only tools for chewing or smiling, act like symbolic gateways. They carry hidden messages about our psychological makeup, our inner potential, the emotional lessons we're here to learn, and even the kind of energy we naturally bring into the world. It's not fortune-telling or superstition, but a psychological lens through which we can gain more insight into ourselves. Let's imagine for a moment that understanding the symbolism of your teeth could unlock hidden parts of your personality, that the size, alignment, strength, or fragility of each tooth could offer you greater clarity about your habits, your emotions, and even your life purpose. Sounds dramatic, right? But once we begin to look at Jung's theories on archetypes, the collective unconscious, and the way nature expresses itself through symbols, this idea starts to make a lot more sense. In this exploration, we're going to dive into Carl Jung's symbolic interpretation of the body, focusing specifically on the meaning of our teeth, how their shape, condition, and structure can mirror psychological energies, and how those energies may subtly influence our personality traits, emotional tendencies, and even our spiritual direction. But before we begin, if you're someone who values depth, meaning, and self-discovery, consider subscribing to our channel. We regularly bring content that challenges conventional thinking and invites you to reflect more deeply on who you are and what drives you. By joining us, you'll be part of a community that seeks growth not through surface-level advice, but through profound inner understanding. Now take a deep breath, because what you're about to hear might not only change how you view your teeth, but also how you see your story, your patterns, and the journey you've been walking all along. It's not about putting people into boxes. It's about revealing the symbolic messages already woven into the fabric of your being. Let's start with Carl Jung's vision. Let's start with Carl Jung's central belief that the universe is full of repeating patterns, what he called archetypes. These are universal images, stories, and energies that appear across all cultures, myths, and human experiences. They exist both outside and inside us. And Jung believed that we each carry a unique combination of these archetypes within us, shaping how we think, feel, and act. Now imagine applying this same principle to the human body. For Jung, the body was not just flesh and bone, it was a symbolic map of the unconscious. And the teeth in particular hold an extraordinary symbolic weight. They are not just instruments for eating or smiling, they are expressions of inner energy, revealing archetypal patterns at play in the psyche. Think of the different types of teeth we all have: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Each group carries a unique symbolic function, mirroring specific psychological energies. Just as the seasons reflect cycles of birth, growth, fullness, and decline, the teeth represent inner archetypes, each one pointing to a role, a challenge, or a mission of the soul. The incisors, for example, are sharp and forward-facing. They cut through, opening paths. Symbolically, they embody beginnings, initiative, and the courage to confront life head-on. People whose incisors stand out, large, visible, or dominant, often carry the archetype of the pioneer or the truth-seeker. Their soul's mission is to open doors, to cut through illusions, and to bring clarity where there is confusion. Now compare that to the molars. They are broad, grounded, and designed for grinding, transforming food into something digestible. Psychologically, molars symbolize perseverance, resilience, and the ability to work through difficulties. Those with strong, prominent molars often carry the archetype of the builder or the stabilizer. Their mission is not to start the fire, but to sustain it, not to initiate, but to consolidate. They bring endurance and structure to life, holding others together when things get heavy. And then we have the canines, pointed, powerful, almost primal. They are associated with instinct, raw energy, and survival. In Jungian terms, they reflect the shadow as much as they do the warrior archetype. Strong, pronounced canines can symbolize a soul that is deeply in touch with instinct, someone whose mission is to learn how to channel raw power into creation instead of destruction. These people often feel torn between aggression and protection, passion and control. Finally, the premolars act as bridges, combining the tearing function of the front teeth with the grinding stability of the back teeth. They embody transition, adaptation, and mediation. Symbolically, they represent the archetype of the diplomat, the soul that learns to balance opposites, to stand between conflict and harmony. So, according to Jung's symbolic vision, your teeth are not merely bones in your mouth, they are archetypal imprints. Each type corresponds to a distinct psychological energy, and the way they are shaped, aligned, or emphasized in your smile reveals the atmosphere of your inner world. Just as the month of your birth reflects the symbolic energy of the season, your teeth reflect the symbolic roles you are meant to embody. Think about someone with very prominent incisors. They may constantly feel the urge to cut through, to move forward, to initiate. In contrast, someone whose molars dominate may embody consistency, patience, and endurance, the silent force that holds everything together. And those with sharp canines? They often carry the tension of instinct versus refinement, their life journey centered on taming fire without extinguishing it. In this sense, your teeth are more than physical structures. They are a living map of archetypes, repeating patterns of the psyche made visible in bone. Jung would say, if you learn to read them, you learn to read your soul's mission. What Jung found fascinating is that the body itself is not neutral. It has a rhythm, a mood, and a story. And when we look at something as ordinary as our teeth, we discover that they, too, carry a symbolic tone, like a background melody that subtly influences our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional responses. The shape, strength, or alignment of your teeth doesn't determine your destiny, but it provides a map, a symbolic framework that you can use to understand yourself better. This symbolic map doesn't dictate what you must do. Rather, it reveals the energies you're likely to encounter within yourself, both the strengths you can rely on and the shadows you're meant to confront. For Jung, self-knowledge was the key to freedom. And part of that self-knowledge comes from understanding the archetypal forces hidden in the very structure of our body, including the teeth we so often overlook. The fascinating part of this idea is that it takes something we usually see as purely physical, like the arrangement of our smile, and turns it into a powerful tool for introspection. Suddenly, your teeth aren't just bones for chewing or symbols of beauty. They become a doorway, a way to connect with the deeper rhythms of psychology, instinct, and the soul. So now we arrive at the real question: what do your teeth say about your soul's journey? Each type of tooth, according to Jung's symbolic thinking, connects to a particular archetype, a timeless inner pattern that lives within all of us, but manifests more strongly in some than in others. Understanding these patterns can reveal why you're drawn to certain roles in life, why some challenges repeat, and where your natural wisdom lies. In the sections ahead, we'll explore the meaning behind each group of teeth, from the incisors that cut through beginnings, to the molars that embody resilience, to the canines that guard raw instinct, and even the gaps, misalignments, or where that speak of hidden struggles. You'll see how Jung's understanding of archetypes allows us to find significance in what at first glance seems ordinary, our smile. But keep in mind, this isn't about fitting into a mold. The archetypes Jung described are not boxes. They're mirrors. They don't limit you, they help you recognize what's already inside you, but maybe hasn't yet been named. So if you're ready to discover the symbolic energy behind your teeth and how they may be quietly influencing your choices, your emotions, and your personal growth, then continue with us on this journey. In the next part, we'll begin exploring tooth by tooth, diving into the specific archetypes that Jung's symbolic framework reveals: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, each carrying a distinct psychological and spiritual meaning. What you find might not only surprise you, but reconnect you to a part of yourself you've long forgotten. Now that we've explored Carl Jung's idea that even something as physical as your teeth can hold symbolic meaning, serving as a reflection of the archetypal forces that shape your inner life, it's time to look at each group of teeth individually. Jung didn't see the body as a random collection of parts, but as a symbolic map of the psyche. Each tooth carries its own psychological tone, and depending on which ones stand out in your smile, whether by their shape, size, or condition, you may find yourself naturally resonating with certain universal patterns or archetypes. Let's begin this symbolic journey through the mouth and uncover what each type of tooth, incisors, canines, premolars, and molars, might reveal about the inner landscape of your soul. Incisors, the archetype of the initiator or the pathfinder. The incisors are the first teeth people notice. Positioned right at the front, sharp and precise, their role is to cut, to open, to begin. Symbolically, they represent the archetype of the initiator, the one who takes the first step, who dares to move forward when others hesitate. Those whose incisors stand out, whether by their size, prominence, or clarity, often carry within them a natural drive for beginnings. They may be the type of person who starts new projects, who takes the lead in unfamiliar situations, or who seeks to bring clarity where confusion reigns. Like the sharp edge of the tooth that slices through, these individuals often possess a mind that cuts to the essence of things. There is also a directness in their way of being. Just as incisors stand visibly in the front, people marked by this archetype rarely hide their presence. They are often clear, sometimes even blunt, and their gift lies in opening doors, psychological, emotional, or even spiritual. They embody the courage to face life head-on. But like all archetypes, the initiator carries a shadow. Incisor-dominant people can become overly impatient, rushing into things without considering long-term consequences. They may cut too deeply with their words or actions, leaving wounds unintentionally. The challenge here is learning balance, to use their power to open pathways without destroying what stands in the way. The key lesson of the incisors is to embrace the courage of initiation while cultivating patience and compassion. Their soul's mission is to be a spark, to ignite movements, ideas, or changes, but also to recognize that beginnings only flourish when nurtured with care. Canines, the archetype of the warrior or the protector. The canines are impossible to ignore. Long-pointed and primal, they are remnants of our survival instincts. Symbolically, they embody the archetype of the warrior, the force of instinct, passion, and raw energy. Those whose canines are prominent often carry an aura of intensity. They may be strong-willed, deeply protective of those they love, and unafraid to face conflict when necessary. Like the warrior, they are built for confrontation, not necessarily physical, but psychological and emotional as well. They are the ones who can pierce through resistance, who can fight for truth, justice, or survival. At their best, canine-driven individuals channel this energy into protection. They guard what matters. They stand as defenders of the weak, leaders in crisis, and fierce advocates for what they believe in. Their presence can be magnetic, their drive unstoppable. But the shadow of the warrior is equally strong. Canines can symbolize aggression, domination, and unbridled passion. People marked by this archetype may struggle with controlling their temper, with acting out of instinct instead of reflection. Their challenge is not to suppress their primal energy, but to refine it, to transform raw fire into constructive power. The lesson of the canines is to honor instinct without being consumed by it. Their soul's mission is to learn that true strength lies not only in the fight, but in knowing when to lower the weapon and choose peace. When balanced, they become protectors of harmony, channeling passion into purpose. By the way, if you're curious to go even deeper and integrate your shadows and light, check out the Sim Method ebook. It's a concise guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. Premolars, the archetype of the reborn or the awakener. The premolars sit between the sharp incisors and canines at the front and the heavy molars at the back. They are teeth of transition, combining the cutting ability of the front with the grinding strength of the back. Symbolically, they represent the archetype of the reborn, the one who bridges two worlds, who emerges from endings into beginnings, and who knows how to reinvent themselves. Just as March signals the shift from winter to spring, the premolars embody movement and awakening. Those whose premolars are particularly strong or noticeable often carry a deep emotional sensitivity and adaptability. They can navigate transitions in life with resilience, even if they feel fragile on the surface. Like nature blooming again after the cold, these individuals are able to rise from setbacks and rediscover themselves many times. There is often a spiritual or artistic quality to this archetype. Premolar energy is about renewal, about seeing possibility where others only see endings. These are people who bring freshness, who remind others that life is cyclical and that rebirth is always possible. But the shadow of the reborn lies in becoming overwhelmed by constant change. Just as premolars serve two functions, people with this energy may feel torn between different roles or paths, risking confusion or lack of direction. Their growth lies in learning to anchor themselves, balancing emotional intensity with grounded presence. Molars, the archetype of the warrior or the builder of strength. The molars are the foundation of the mouth. Broad, heavy, and designed for grinding, they take the hard work of breaking down what sustains us. Symbolically, they embody the archetype of the warrior, the force of stability, endurance, and resilience. Like April bursting with energy, molars represent the active will that faces life with power. People with dominant or very strong molars often carry a bold, assertive nature. They are natural stabilizers, the ones who hold the weight when others falter. They tend to be determined, disciplined, and capable of great perseverance. Their role is to transform raw experience into something digestible, to take the hard parts of life and turn them into usable wisdom. At their best, they are protectors and builders. They defend, they provide, and they construct strong foundations for themselves and those around them. But their shadow is impulsive force. Molars can symbolize rigidity, stubbornness, or even aggression when overemphasized. Those influenced by this archetype may push too hard, burn out, or struggle to accept change. Their soul's mission is to learn the balance between strength and flexibility. When aligned, they become unstoppable builders of stability, carrying others through storms with their grounded energy. Wisdom teeth, the archetype of the builder or the seeker of simplicity. The wisdom teeth, or third molars, are the last to appear. For some, they never erupt at all. For others, they arrive later in life, sometimes with difficulty. Symbolically, they represent the archetype of the builder and the seeker of simplicity, the one who values grounding, patience, and connection to what is lasting. Just as May brings calm after the rush of spring, wisdom teeth appear when the mouth is already formed. They symbolize maturity, grounding, and integration. Those who resonate with this archetype often have a sensual, earthy nature. They are drawn to beauty, art, and the pleasures of life. They carry loyalty, patience, and the ability to nurture, preferring stability over chaos. At their best, they build lives of meaning and simplicity. They don't chase constant novelty. Instead, they cultivate what lasts: relationships, projects, or values that stand the test of time. But the shadow of the builder is attachment. Wisdom tooth energy can become rigid, resistant to change, or too comfortable in routine. Like a tooth that becomes impacted if it has no space, these individuals may feel blocked when growth demands movement. Their evolution comes in learning to embrace transformation while holding on to their deep roots. Tooth wear, bruxism, the archetype of the leader or the sovereign. When teeth show signs of grinding or wear, it's rarely just a physical issue. Symbolically, bruxism reveals inner tension, a pressure to hold or control. This corresponds to the archetype of the leader, the sovereign who carries responsibility, power, and the weight of others on their shoulders. Like August, with its bold radiance, worn teeth reflect energy that demands visibility and expression. Those marked by this archetype often possess natural authority, charisma, and a deep inner fire. They feel called to lead, to influence, or to guide others. Yet this very force can translate into unconscious strain, grinding against obstacles, pushing too hard, and wearing themselves down in the process. At their best, these individuals embody the noble side of the sovereign. They inspire, protect, and create order with dignity, but the shadow is pride, control, or isolation. Just as the constant pressure of grinding erodes enamel, too much intensity erodes peace of mind. Their growth lies in embracing humility, learning to delegate, and channeling strength without self-destruction. Balanced, they become visionaries who shine without burning out, empowering others as much as themselves. Tooth sensitivity, the archetype of the analyst or the perfectionist. Teeth that react sharply to hot, cold, or sweet stimuli tell us of heightened sensitivity beneath the surface. Symbolically, this reflects the archetype of the analyst, the one who feels deeply, notices everything, and seeks order and precision. Like September's season of harvest and preparation, sensitive teeth mirror souls who are detail-oriented, careful, and constantly processing. These individuals often have sharp intellects, quick emotional reflexes, and a tendency to analyze both themselves and others. They see what others miss, and this makes them invaluable organizers, researchers, and creators of clarity. But the shadow of this archetype is overthinking and perfectionism. Just as sensitive teeth can make even simple pleasures painful, excessive analysis can rob life of ease. People with this energy may be overly self-critical, afraid of mistakes, or rigid in their pursuit of control. Their evolution lies in learning to soften, accepting imperfection as part of growth. When balanced, they combine clarity with compassion, turning precision into wisdom. Aesthetic smile, the archetype of the diplomat or the artist. A harmonious, beautiful smile is not only cosmetic, it's symbolic. Balanced teeth, radiant in proportion and form, express the archetype of the diplomat or the artist. Like October, with its colors, beauty, and balance, the aesthetic smile embodies harmony, unity, and connection. Those aligned with this archetype often have gifts for relationships and creativity. They value fairness, symmetry, and peace. Just as a smile can disarm conflict, they naturally bring people together. They might be artists, communicators, or peacemakers, weaving beauty into the ordinary. Romantic at heart, they long for truth, unity, and deep emotional resonance. But the shadow of the artist is dependency on approval. Just as a perfect smile can hide underlying pain, people influenced by this archetype may mask their struggles to maintain harmony. Their growth lies in embracing authenticity, finding beauty not only in perfection, but also in vulnerability. When integrated, they become bridge builders, reminding us that true artistry is the courage to reveal the whole self. Cavities or damaged teeth, the archetype of the alchemist, or the deep transformer. When a tooth is decayed or broken, something hidden is revealed. Beneath the enamel, the deeper layers become exposed, demanding attention and healing. Symbolically, this resonates with the archetype of the alchemist, the one who faces the shadow, embraces destruction, and transforms pain into wisdom. Like November, with its fading light and inward turn, damaged teeth mirror souls who are not afraid of depth. Those marked by this archetype often carry intensity, intuition, and a spiritual pull toward what lies beneath the surface. They are the ones who can look at what others fear, trauma, loss, or imperfection, and find meaning within it. At their best, they embody profound resilience. They undergo cycles of breaking and rebuilding, of loss and renewal. Their lives may be marked by trials that force them to grow beyond comfort. But through these very struggles, they evolve into healers, guides, or creators who show others that beauty can emerge from brokenness. The shadow of the alchemist is despair, becoming so consumed by darkness that hope is lost. Just as a cavity spreads if ignored, unprocessed pain can erode the spirit. Their challenge is to trust the process, to surrender without being devoured. When they embrace their inner work, they emerge transformed, living proof that wholeness is possible even after fracture. Tooth loss or prosthetics, the archetype of the wise teacher or the visionary sage. The absence of teeth, whether through natural loss or replacement with prosthetics, marks a closure of cycles. Symbolically, it aligns with the archetype of the sage, the one who carries both memory and vision, endings and beginnings. Like December, which closes the year with reflection and hope, missing teeth represent maturity, wisdom, and transcendence of form. Those marked by this archetype often carry a philosophical or spiritual nature. They see beyond appearances, valuing essence over image. Their role is to guide, to inspire, and to share insights gained through lived experience. At their highest, they embody serenity. They understand that life is impermanent and that every loss carries within it a seed of renewal. They speak not only from theory, but from scars, showing others how to endure and evolve. But even the sage has shadows. In focusing too much on the abstract, they may detach from the present, idealizing life or becoming disillusioned when reality doesn't meet their visions. Their growth lies in grounding wisdom in everyday action, living their philosophy rather than only teaching it. Balanced, the sage archetype becomes a beacon, a reminder that endings are not failures, but gateways. The smile without all its teeth becomes not a mark of weakness, but a testament to survival, depth, and the beauty of a story fully lived. Jung never intended these archetypes to define or limit anyone. He saw them as keys, starting points for a deeper dialogue with the soul. The archetype reflected in your teeth, whether through their shape, alignment, strength, or even their fragility, may highlight your natural strengths, emotional tendencies, and the life themes you're here to explore. But it's up to you to work with these symbols consciously. Real transformation doesn't come just from noticing what your teeth symbolize. It comes from integrating these insights into how you live, how you choose, and how you grow. For Jung, this is the essence of individuation, becoming the most whole, authentic version of yourself. That journey is unique for every person. And the more you learn to recognize the symbolic forces expressed even in the smallest details of your body, the more freedom you gain to shape your destiny with awareness and meaning. Your teeth don't define you, but they can reveal something essential about the path your soul is walking. And now that you've glimpsed this map, perhaps you'll see yourself and your story with new eyes.